Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 19 of Innovative EdTech. Let me just check a few things because I am using ironically, a brand new streaming platform, which actually is the original streaming platform that we used to use that we decided to change from a few years ago. And we are back to it, which is fantastic. So hopefully everything is going to go hunky-dory tonight, which will be fantastic. Anyway, I hope that you are very well. I have been a little bit sick lately, and I'm so glad that I have been able to make it tonight for episode 19 of Innovative EdTech. So thank you for joining us. If you're joining us live, if you're joining us on the recording, thank you so much for being part of the Evolve EdTech community. All right, so let's jump in. I'm just going to go and click a few buttons to get a few things sorted because, oops, we'll add that. Okay, that'll work. That'll work. All right, welcome. Actually, yeah, no, that'll do. All right, welcome to episode 19 of Innovative EdTech. Tonight, get insanely organized as an educator with Planboard. So we're going to have a look at this amazing digital tool known as Planboard. Now, I'm going to tell you a few things about this tonight. It's a demonstration episode. I know that we do love the demo episode, so we are going to jump into Planboard very soon, and I'm going to show you the ins and outs of this wonderful platform. It is a platform that I have used before, so it is definitely something that I have tested myself, and that is why I am recommending it to you this evening. Okay, let's jump in. I'm going to just press a few buttons here to maybe make this look a little bit better. There we go. That looks better. All right, so let's dive in and get started. All right, if we have not met before, my name is Tristan Heron. I am the founder and future ready teaching specialist here at Evolve EdTech. And excuse me, I have been here and I have been part of the Evolve EdTech group since 2020. And there's a whole story behind that. And I've talked about that in other episodes there. But yes, we did start pre-pandemic, believe it or not. All right, I am a fully qualified K-12 primary and high school teacher here in Australia, and I have teaching specialities in English and history. So they are my high school teaching subject areas. At the moment, I predominantly teach in English, but I am also history trained. All right, I have been teaching for over 10 years now. I think it's actually coming up to about 15 years where I have been in the education system. And throughout that time, I have taught students from kindergarten all the way up to year 12. So I have taught absolutely every type of student here where I teach, and it's wonderful to be able to see the different spectrums and the different requirements of students across from primary school all the way up to high school here in Australia. And if you haven't realized already, I have an absolute keen interest in educational technology. I love EdTech, and I am a big supporter and a big promoter of this. I want you to think about EdTech and think about what our young people need for tomorrow. Stop thinking about what you need. Stop thinking about what you had when you were in high school. All right, this is about the kids and what they need tomorrow when they go into a completely different world. So my love of EdTech actually was sparked in 2012 when I was teaching in my very first high school, and we were using Moodle. All right, if you're still using Moodle, I bet it is absolutely amazing now. I thought Moodle was so great when I was using it back in 2012. I haven't used Moodle since then. I haven't been at a school that uses Moodle, but Moodle was my first introduction to EdTech, and it was something that I loved. I remember from my Facebook memories that I see this one regularly where I talked about giving my students their assessment results and feedback on Moodle, and I thought it was just the greatest thing ever. But I am a very, very motivated, interested person when it comes to EdTech, and seeing what we can do with EdTech to help our students develop the skills and abilities that they will need for their future. It's not about us, it's about their future. All right, very proud to announce and go to this next slide here. Okay, I'm hoping you haven't seen any of that because I haven't been on the right screen. Isn't that funny? So if I press that button there, after I remove that, and I add that, now you can see what I am showing you. All right. So if you've just been listening to me rant there and going, Tristan, nothing's changed, that is why. Anyway, I am very proud to talk about this slide just here. And a big congratulations do go to the Evolve EdTech team, because we were nominated for an award this year and we were successful in obtaining this particular award as part of the Corporate Vision Education and Training Awards from 2025. So we were awarded the the Leading Teacher EdTech Training Initiative 2025. It was an absolutely rigorous process, and you can actually check us out by heading to that link just there on your screen if you'd like to find out a little bit more about this particular award and have a look at the article that they wrote about us here at Evolve EdTech. So this is really a testament to what we do, and really showing you that we are definitely somebody who is here to help you, because we want to help you with EdTech so that you can make sure that your young people and your students are ready for their future. Okay, so that's enough about me and Evolve EdTech and all the awards that we're winning. It is tonight. What are we going to have a look at? All right, just let me see if I can move this, because that is looking like that's better. Okay, as I said, we are just coming back into the new old streaming software that we have been using before, and I've just got to get a little bit, get my bearings again, but we will be okay. All right, so in tonight's episode 19 of Innovative EdTech, we're going to have a cracker of an episode. I know I say that all the time, but every episode is exciting and rewarding. All right, excuse me. Tonight, we are going to go and have a look at this idea of digital teacher diaries / teacher planners. All right, so you obviously probably have used a teacher diary or planner at some stage in your career, but we're going to introduce you to the concept of a digital diary. All right, it is something that I have been using for years. I'm not going to say I hate paper, but I prefer something digital. Obviously, I'm here, I'm promoting all kinds of EdTech things, but I love digital. So I'm going to introduce this to you tonight and hopefully show you the benefits of a digital teacher diary or a plan book. All right, we're going to have a look at some of those key differences between digital and physical teacher diaries, all right, so that you can really make sure that you have a very clear outline of some of the benefits and drawbacks of both types of diaries, okay? So I'm going to present both of them to you. We're going to be quite subjective here so that you can make a decision. All right, then we're going to take you over and we're going to introduce you to the particular platform that we're going to explore tonight, which is Planbook. Okay, I have been using Planbook for a number of years. Okay, so I have used it before. I do know what it's like, and I'm going to go and demonstrate that for you tonight. So we are going to go through, I've got a list of things just here that we are going to do tonight, but we are going to go in, we're going to set up, we're going to customize, we're going to create a brand new plan board. I don't know why it says plan book there. I always seem to make a slight boo-boo every time I do something. We're going to go over to Planboard. Okay, Planbook's another type of teacher diary, but we're going to go over to Planboard and I'm going to show you what to do. Then to finish off tonight, I'm just going to go through some different ways that you can stay connected with this here at Evolve EdTech and tell you something about something very special which you can access right now for an amazing deal for a very limited time. So I'm going to talk to you about that very soon. Okay, so let's get started. What are teacher digital diaries / planners? Okay, what are they? Let's start off from the very beginning so that we all have an understanding of what I am talking about. Okay, a digital teacher diary or a planner, it doesn't matter, they're all interchangeable, is an online platform or app designed to help teachers plan, organize, and manage their lessons, their schedules, and their resources. So instead of flipping through a paper diary or planner, everything lives in one central cloud-based space where you can access any of that essentially anywhere, anytime, and often from multiple devices. All right. So essentially, it is going to do almost everything that we could do with a paper version of a teacher diary or planner, but we're going to be able to do a few additional things that we probably couldn't do when we had paper, okay? So we're going to be able to use it in a whole range of different places. We're going to be able to use it on different devices, from mobile phones, tablets, laptops, any kind of device, anywhere, essentially anytime. Now, there is a stipulation there because obviously to use this, we do need internet, okay? We do need some kind of data. So that is probably one stipulation about that, anywhere, anytime. But as long as you've got access to the internet and you've got access to some kind of data, you can use it anywhere, anytime. So a digital diary is that online platform or app designed to help you plan, organize, and manage your lessons, schedules, and resources. Okay, so what are digital teacher diaries and planners? Okay, so we've introduced you to that. We've given you a definition. So what's kind of the purpose behind this? So these tools are designed obviously with you in mind as an educator. All right, they're not just thrown out there. They're actually very specifically designed to make your life easier. And most of those electronic teacher diaries that you will find, and there's a number of different examples out there in the marketplace, you can do things like planning your lessons, okay? Which is what we do with a digital, with a paper diary anyway. We're planning our lessons. We can often have drag and drop timetables, which is fantastic because that way we can create a schedule. If our schedule and timetable changes, it's very easy to customize that, especially if we're using something digital. We can often integrate our planners with curriculum standards. So different places around the world will have access to obviously different outcomes and standards, whatever your particular education system is using, and you can use those in your planners to help track your teaching and learning and things like that. We can often very easily share information with colleagues, including casual teachers or leaders if we're required to share that. All right. So that is one benefit of using a digital teacher diary, because it's much easier to be able to share that information really quickly with a variety of different people. All right. A lot of these teacher planners also have the ability to attach resources. We can pop in links. We can pop notes in the lessons. All right. We can embed videos. We can do a whole range of different things. All right. Again, every platform and every different type of teacher diary is slightly different in terms of what you can do, but there'll be some form of capacity to be able to attach those resources, those links, those notes, those worksheets, whatever you're using to your lesson. And most of them have automatic syncing across devices. So essentially, they'll be web or app-based. So that means that if you go from a desktop to a laptop to a Chromebook to a tablet to your mobile phone, you'll be able to access everything in a very similar fashion, depending on how the app has been configured, etc. Okay, so there's a lot that you could actually do with a digital teacher diary, all right? And a lot of it you already do today with a physical diary. So we see digital planners as more than just a diary, okay? We see them as something that is actually going to be much, much more beneficial. They are really teaching command centers. Yes, teaching command centers. So it's one place where you will be able to store pretty much everything that you need as an educator for on a day-to-day basis. So this will free up your time. It will reduce paper clutter and make it easier for you to stay consistent and organized. If, I look at myself, one of the reasons why I really disliked a paper copy is because it does take up a lot of space. It's very heavy to take home and bring to work each day, where now I am using a digital diary that I can access on my desktop computer right here in our office. I can use my laptop. I can go to my mobile phone. I can do most of these things that I was doing with a digital diary, but now I am using devices that are smaller, that are lighter, that are more accessible in different places. So a teacher diary really is a command center. It's really your one-stop shop so that you can go in there and you can do pretty much every single thing that you need to do as a teacher, and you can do it quickly. You can make your life so much easier, and you have access to this anywhere, anytime. Okay, so What are some of the differences between digital diaries and planners and physical diaries and planners? So what we're kind of going to do here is we're going to go back and forth, and we're going to go one at a time here and look at both sides. Okay, so we're not just going to go digital diaries and then digital and physical planners. We're going to actually give you the ins and outs of both of them, because I'm not saying that physical diaries do not have a place in education. I am never going to say that, but I'm going to hopefully present some reasons why a digital diary is something that you might like to consider. All right, I'm not saying that you can use one or the other. You could use both of them if you wanted to, okay? But there is nothing to say that you can't do that. But I want to present you with a whole range of reasons so that you can make an informed judgment. Okay, the first reason why a digital diary is something great. We've talked about this. Most of the time, they're cloud-based and they're accessible on multiple devices. All right, that is fantastic. So as I mentioned, I can go here from my desktop. I could go into my bedroom or my lounge room, and I could grab on my Pixel. Okay, I could do all different kinds of things, and I can access my diary on a range of different devices. All right, so that's one reason why a digital planner is definitely something to consider. But on the other hand, a physical diary must be in the same location where you are in order to physically use it. So if you leave it at school, you leave it in your desk, you leave it in your office, okay, that means that you aren't going to be able to use it at the particular time that you might require it, okay? So just be aware that if we have a digital diary, we are able to access it basically anywhere, anytime. But if we have a physical diary, we need to make sure that that diary is with us. Otherwise, we can't use it. All right. So that's my first reason. I just want you to think about these, because I just want you to actually think about some of the reasons, some of the differences between these two different platforms. Okay, our next reason, and we've talked about this again, with a digital diary or planner, most of the time, again, depending on our platform, we can include multimedia. We can include links, videos, documents, pretty much anything that we might need for our particular lessons with our students. We can pop those into our particular planning platform, whatever we're using. All right, and we can definitely do that with Planboard tonight, and I'm going to show you. Okay, on the other hand, though, when it comes to a physical diary, we're very limited, all right? We're limited to those written notes. We could pop in printouts, we could pop in sticky notes, but we can't pop in those actionable, interactive, multimedia, clickable links, those videos from YouTube that we could embed, all right? We can't pop in a Google Doc or some kind of Google product in there, because it is a physical product. It is not a digital product. It is a physical product, okay? So if we're using a physical diary, we are obviously limited to written notes, printouts, and sticky notes, okay? So just be aware of that. Okay, our third reason is that a digital diary or planner is easily editable, okay? You can shift your lessons, you can duplicate them, you can do all kinds of things. If things happen, you're sick, you need to take a day off, okay, something is happening in terms of a cohort meeting, or there's some kind of presentation, all right, I'm going to show you with Planboard how easy it is to shift a lesson to another day. All right, it is one of the big benefits of a digital lesson, okay, and a digital planner, being able to move that rather than having to write it out, cross it out, rewrite it in a new spot in a physical diary. Okay, obviously, we've just alluded to this. If we have a physical diary and we do have changes, we have to make those manually, all right? We have to cross out, we have to use the whiteout, we have to rewrite them. And if you were like me, I have very significant OCD when it comes to things that are written especially, all right? That would drive me mad, okay? That would drive me absolutely mad, because it wouldn't be perfect. And I know, my wonderful friend Sarah Corder talks about the fact that we shouldn't focus on perfectionism, but it would drive me mad. And that is probably one reason why I have shifted away from physical diaries to digital diaries. Okay, our next reason is that most of the time we can share information with our colleagues or casual teachers, which makes our lives so much easier. Okay. So if you have colleagues, you could share lesson plans with them. You could share it with casual teachers so that they are able to access that information very quickly. All right, getting a bit croaky there. I did mention that I had not been well, and I can hope you probably can hear it, can't you? Okay, another reason. All right, if we need to share something from our physical diary, we have to probably photocopy it. We probably have to leave the diary, hand it over to our casual teacher or our co-teacher, which is not the most effective means of using a particular diary like this. Okay, so have a think about the efficiency just here with a physical diary, especially if you have a team teacher or a co-teacher and you're being asked to share a diary so that you are on the same page. Okay, this might prevent you from doing some forward planning and popping information into your diary because maybe you have to leave it at school on the days that you aren't working. All right. So, just another consideration when it comes to the differences between digital and physical diaries. Okay. Often you'll find that our digital diaries will integrate with things like calendars, email, curriculum. All right. So you'll be able to embed and integrate a whole range of these different day-to-day products and processes and software applications that you might be using, which again is going to make your life so much easier because there's just one less place for you to go to access information. All right. But on the other hand, we can't do that when it comes to a paper diary. All right. We can't integrate a calendar and update that instantly when something happens. We can't integrate our email so that we can go to one place to access our emails. We can't, very quickly change our curriculum and outcomes and things like that as they occur. All right. We cannot do that when it comes to a physical teacher diary. Okay, our next reason, one that I have talked about and one that I absolutely agree with, a physical diary reduces paper use and clutter. Okay, I am very big on trying to minimize and reduce that amount of paper. And obviously, if we're using a digital diary, we don't need to worry about that because we are using something digitally based. Okay, if we have a look at a physical diary, okay, yes, they're tangible, they're tactile, all right? They don't rely on tech, which could be a big benefit, especially if you're in a low-tech school or you have very unreliable access to internet or data and things like that. A physical diary could be very beneficial, all right? So definitely not saying that one is better than the other, but they both definitely have reasons for and against each other. Excuse me. All right, and my last reason, okay, for a digital diary is that it does require a device and internet connection. We've just talked about this for most of those applications, all right? So it is something that you do need to be mindful of, is that you do need some kind of device. Most of us in our schools and settings are provided with a laptop or a Chromebook or some kind of tablet or iPad, so we should have access to this. Again, maybe we don't have access to that particular application. If it is an app itself or that particular website, it might not be available in our particular area. So you do need to be mindful of that. All right. And again, for most of these, we do need an internet connection. All right. And we need a good internet connection to make sure that we can access this when we need it, okay, as we need it, etc. On the other hand, though, when it comes to a physical diary, it always will be there. It will always work for you. All right. You'll be able to open it. You'll be able to write down. You'll be able to highlight, pop in sticky notes. You'll always be able to do this as long as you have that diary with you. It doesn't require power. It doesn't require some form of connection, which is fantastic. So it will always be there for you. All right. So there's just a number of different reasons for and against both digital and physical teacher diaries and planners. All right. As I've mentioned, and I really want to emphasize this, I am not saying that one is better than the other. All right. I am not saying that. I am just wanting to provide you with the information so that you can make a judgment. Yes, I am using a digital diary myself, but that is my personal preference. All right. I find it easier. There's a number of these different reasons, which we've just talked about here, that are why I find a digital diary beneficial and more effective for me. I am not saying that if you're over here in the physical diary column, that any of these reasons here aren't actually valid. All right. I'm saying that they probably absolutely are, especially if you like that tangible, tactile feel of a diary. If you like the fact that you can always write and highlight in the diary, that is perfect for you. Okay. But I just want you to think about what you could do if you would like to explore a digital diary. And this is probably what I would say. I would say, have a go. Maybe try it for a term or a semester, or even be really brave and maybe just try it for 12 months. See what happens, see whether you like it, and see if it's something that you might like to continue with in the future. Okay. Or you might like to be someone who's a little bit hybrid. Maybe we have a physical diary so we can make notes really quickly, but we have a digital diary that we can also access and use so that we have some of those positives like multimedia embedcation, okay, easily editable, accessible, all of those kind of options we can actually use really quickly and easily. All right, so let's dive in. I did mention it is going to be a demonstration episode tonight, and we are going to jump over and have a look at Planboard. All right, so if you're looking for a digital diary, then I would jump in and say hello to Planboard. All right, so let's go and have a look at Planboard and see why this might be the tool that you explore if you would like to have a look at a teacher diary. Okay, Planboard by Chalk is a free online lesson planning and organization tool designed specifically for teachers and educators. Okay, so it is designed specifically for us. All right, Planboard is like having a teacher's diary, resource folder, and timetable all in one place. It is streamlined, it is accessible, and it's designed to save you time. All right. It's designed to make your life and your workload as a teacher even better each and every day. And here's the proof that we love and we know Planboard. All right. Planboard was actually one of the very first product tutorial series that we created here at Evolve EdTech in 2021. And I was very lucky. I do not know how this happened, but for some, somehow I tweeted something back in the day when we had Twitter. I tweeted something about this, and all of a sudden, I actually was. I looked in my inbox, and I had an email from the CEO of Chalk. Okay, which was the parent company of Planboard back then. And he was so excited that I was going to create a series of tutorials on their product that they actually gifted me a 12-month subscription to Planboard. All right, and I'll talk to you a little bit about their subscription and whether I think it is worth it shortly. So, just to show you how much we valued it, all right, it was actually one of the very first series that we created here. And you can still head over to our YouTube channel now and check that out. There has been a few changes to Planboard over the years. It has changed owners, and some of the features and functions have disappeared, and they have been evolved into different things. And but you can go over and you can check that out if you would like to. But it is definitely a resource that I encourage you to go and explore. Okay, so let's go and have a look at what we're doing tonight. All right. It is, we've been here for half an hour, so we've got another half an hour to get through this, and I think we can do it and not go too over time tonight. All right, so what we're going to do tonight is we are going to head straight over to Planboard, all right, and I'm going to show you the following, all right? Going to show you how easy it is to register and sign into Planboard. All right, we are going to set up our semester dates. All right, you could have it as a year, you could have it as a term, you could have it as a semester. It is completely up to you how you'd like to organize this. We're going to add our classes. We're going to create our timetable or our schedule, depending on what type of schooling system you work in. We're going to have a look at the different planner layouts. So you can have a look at a day view. You can have a look at a week view, which was my preference. We're going to create a unit planner, all right, which I found really beneficial as well. We're then going to have a look at how we can add standards or outcomes for some locations around the world, not everywhere, but we're going to have a look at that and see what we might be able to do if they're not already available for us. And then we're going to create some lesson templates. This was one of the things I loved about Planboard was the lesson template option. All right, because I used a particular template in my lessons and I wanted that replicated in my planning so that it was all the same. All right, so let's dive over. Okay, where's my mouse gone? Okay, let's dive and just remove that temporarily. And we're going to have a look at Planboard. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, all right, so I am over here at Planboard. You can access Planboard quite easily if you just head to Google, okay, and type in chalk or Planboard. Otherwise, app.chalk.com is where you are going to head, okay? So app.chalk.com is where you'll head if you'd like to access Planboard here. All right, you can also use Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple, and I think that's I'm not sure what that one is. That is something I am unfamiliar with. If you know that one, you can click on that and you can use these credentials to access Planboard. All right, now I have already signed in to my Planboard account. Now this is a play account for Evolve EdTech. So this is not my previous account that I used for my particular context when I was using Planboard. I'm not using Planboard at the moment because I have found another method that is working for me, but I have used Planboard in the past, so I can definitely attest to this. All right, so when you jump into Planboard, this is where you are going to end up. What I do love is that it does say good evening, good morning. It does refer to you by your first name, all right? So obviously when you sign up, you'll pop that information in, all right? It does have the date. This one here where it's got week 2, day 3, that will come from our timetable. So you'll see very soon once we go in there and actually start setting that up, that will make a little bit more sense as to why that says week 2, day 3. All right, just here you can see that we can launch our lessons. All right, this is where we can access our planner. We've got curriculum here. I do believe that this will take you to some information here for the new owners of Planboard. Okay, so you'll be able to head over there and have a look at what they have to offer. Okay, I do not have access to that, and that is not something that I am going to talk about and show to you. All right, but if that's something that you are interested in, you can head over and you can have a look at that. And I think it is, yeah, it's PowerSchool. All right, so if you're a PowerSchool user or you'd like to know more about PowerSchool, you can definitely do that from your planner. All right, also here, you will see that we can access reports. All right, I'm not going to dive into this too much. Again, that is through PowerSchool. Okay, so that is there for you if you are using that. We have our resources. Okay, this is fantastic. All right, we're going to be able to pop in resources that we might like to use here. We have a central hub. Okay, again, really easy to use. Okay, lesson plans. So all of the lesson plans that you can create will be able to be reused. Okay, if you'd like to reuse them, and groups and all different kinds of things here. Okay, so really useful. Again, it's that, that central hub where you can access these. And then we have our settings here, which we'll go into shortly. All right, you'll also see here that your classes will appear for the day. You've also got these cute little sticky notes here if you'd like to make some notes, all right, for different things. All right, so that is essentially how to sign up and access, and that's just a general overview of our main screen here, okay? Up the top here, you'll see a little taskbar. Okay, we've got our lessons and all of the different things we're going to talk about. Again, our curriculum and reports, which are obviously going to go to PowerSchool, and our resources. So essentially the same tabs that we have just here on our screen are accessible up the top. Okay, so let's jump in now and set up our semester dates. All right, so what we're going to do here, okay, First up, let's just go to my settings just to show you very quickly what these are in the background. Okay, so this is all your settings here. Okay, you can link a variety of different accounts here. So when I was talking about linking things, we can, Schoology. Okay, so you can link Google, Microsoft, those kind of different platforms there. All right, you can change your names here. Okay, you can change your theming if you'd like to change your colors. All right, so maybe we have this. Oh, I can't here because I'm not a gold member. Okay, we can't change our colors. If you're a gold member, I'll talk about that shortly. You can change your colors. All right, you've got your billing there. Okay, we can upgrade to different subscriptions here. All right, we'll talk about that a little bit later. We can look at our notifications. Okay, I don't have any notifications, and our email preferences. But what we are going to do is we're going to head back just here to our main screen. All right, and I'm just going to come up here to the top left-hand corner to lessons. Okay, I'm going to click on the drop-down menu, and I'm going to scroll down here to semesters. Okay, we're going to start from the very bottom, I think. All right, so this is where we can pop in our semesters. Okay, now it does default, I have discovered, to the kind of American Northern Hemisphere school year. If you're like me and you're down here in Australia, our school year actually starts in late January, early February, and goes to about a week or so before Christmas. So our school year is normally from January to December. So if you are in an area where you have a school system like that, just be aware that the default will be for that type of American school system. All right, so all we're going to do here is come over here. We're going to click on Add Semester, and you're going to give your school year a name. So you can see here that it's defaulted to the 2025-2026 school year, because obviously if you're over in America, that is what your school year is going to be. So I might call this, let's go 2026. Then what you'll need to do here is choose your first day of class and your last day of class, right? Now, this is really important that you get this correct. You can go back in and edit this, but it can cause you a few problems if you set this up and it's not quite correct. So you can see here that we've got a heap of dates that are blanked out. All right, so that means that we can't actually start our school year on those dates. So I'm going to head over here. I'm going to pretend that I'm creating it for my school year next year. I'm going back on the 27th of January, and our last day of 2026, I'm going to have a guess here, is going to be something like the 17th or 18th of December. All right, now I'm just going to click next. Okay. I can create this as a brand new semester, or I can copy a previous semester. Okay, you can copy your materials from previous semesters as well. I would just start brand new, honestly. You're going to choose your teaching days. All right, if you're a normal traditional school, you might be Monday to Friday. If you're a different type of setting, you might have Saturday and Sunday. And then all you do is press create. All right, so that's going to create our semester that we are going to now use to add our classes and start to create our timetable. All right, so far we've registered and we've logged into Planboard. We've had a look at some of the different features and functions, and now we have set up our semester or our year that we are going to use. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to create some classes. We can't actually start to put our timetable together until we have created some classes. All right, the really great thing is we can create classes and non-teaching periods. So if you have, like me, you have some non-teaching time, we can actually also pop that into our timetable and it will look absolutely beautiful. All right, so the first thing is let's add some classes here. So I might just do my particular case. I am an English teacher, so I'm just going to use my class codes that I have this year. We do have the option to change the colors. Okay, we don't have the option at the moment to use the custom color option just here, okay, because that does require an upgrade to chalk gold. But if you use a particular color, all right, you can choose those from these basic colors here. We use kind of red for year 8, so I'm going to choose that kind of color there. So you can see now that this timetable section here has appeared because we have added a class. But let's just add a few more classes just so that we have some options to play around with. So I'm going to add the classes that I teach this year. All right. Again, I'm just using the color kind of combinations that I use with my own classes just so that I can keep everything nice and clear. That's orange there. And I'll put my year 12 class in there as well. 12 ENST1, and they are purple. Okay, again, we can pop in some non-contact time here. So let's say free period. All right, let's give that a color. We might make that just a gray, something like that. Okay, so you can see here that now I have my classes. I have all of the different elements that I'm going to add to my timetable, and I can pop that in here. All right, so this is my timetable just here. And at the moment, you can see that it is a 5-day timetable. If you're like me, in my particular setting, we have a 10-day timetable. So we actually work on a 2-week structure. So what you do to fix that is you just come up here to change rotation, okay? And you can see here that you need to change it. So it says here, how many weeks? Well, I have 2 weeks in my particular schedule, okay? And we operate from Monday to Friday. So you can see here that I've got week 1, day 1, week 2, day 1, okay? It would be nice if it didn't say day 1 for week 2 because it's a singular fortnight, but there are some things that we can't quite edit and change, but that's only very minor. So what we do here is we can label the days with letters or numbers. Okay, we can have this particular button here pressed if we would like, which means that if we have a day where students are not attending, it kind of pushes your schedule to the next day. And for me, that doesn't work because that's not how we operate in my particular context. So I'm just going to leave that one toggled off. I'm going to click on the blue continue. And now that means, okay, you can see just here that I now have a week 1 and a week 2. All right. So the other very important thing that you must remember is whenever you are creating this, you need to come up here and you need to manually press this blue button that says Save Changes. All right. So at the moment, it's telling me that there is 1 change. And if I press that, that is now saved. It is essential that you press that. If you do not press that and you have created your timetable and you refresh the page or your internet goes out, you are going to be in a world of pain. All right, there's a couple of ways here, and I'm going to sneeze because excuse me, it is springtime here in Australia, and it's definitely catching up with me this year. Okay, so what we're going to do is a couple of ways that we can do things here. We can click on a particular location here in our timetable, and that is where we can start to create our timetable from. So we can choose our class, we can change our times here. Okay, I'm just going to leave this just completely random. We can also drop and drag just here. Okay, and we can pop those in there. All right, so you can see that by just moving it closer, it has continued that, and we can do that. All right, so we can pop in all of our timetables, all of our lessons, all of our free periods just here really quickly and really simply. If we have made a mistake and we can very easily just come here, we can click on it, we can edit our times, okay, we can make changes, etc. All right, so it's very easy to fix up if something changes in your particular context. All right, so that is the benefit here. All right, so obviously this is week 1, so just make sure that you are putting your information into the right timetable. If we come to week 2 here, we can pop those in there as well, all right, and create our timetable. Again, over here, we've got our save changes. I've made 9 changes, so I've got 2 changes here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I've changed the time on one of these. I must click the save changes, otherwise they're not going to be there when I go back to them. So just be aware of that there, okay? It's really important that you click save changes. Okay, if we come up here, we can see we've got a couple of buttons that we can click on here. If we click on semesters, that's just going to take us back to edit our semester. Okay, so obviously we've got a couple of semesters here. This is our current semester, so it's obviously got dates in it related to this particular year. I've obviously jumped in and played around with this earlier, so that is why that is green. Your current semester, your current year is always going to be green. We could come up here and we can come to classes. So we can add some more classes just there. Okay, obviously I'll go to this particular year, all right, which is the year we're working on as our demo. And then we have our timetable here. Okay, again, just make sure that you're in the correct semester and you're not looking at the wrong semester if you've got previous semesters that you have created, so that you can edit that. All right, it's pretty simple. It might take a little bit of time to get it right, but once you've done it, it is absolutely amazing. Okay, so that is how we create our classes and our timetable using Planboard. Okay, I know that that was really quick, but essentially all we're going to be doing is popping in our timetable there, and it will look really beautiful once it's completed. All right, let's head back up the top here to our lesson tab. And we're going to go and have a look at the different views that you can access as a teacher, okay? So there's a couple of different views that you can use, all right? My preference was the week view, but we'll go and have a look at both of those. All right, let's start off with our day planner, all right? So this is our day planner here, and I might make sure... I'm just going to make sure we're just going to go to semesters. I'm just going to we might just, I know why there's nothing in there, because there's no classes in there. All right, so that makes sense. That makes sense now, Tristan. Good job. Okay, we're going to come back here, but essentially this is where your classes will be for your timetabled lessons on that particular day there. Okay, so we can come in here. You'll see it really beautifully laid out, just like it would be in the timetable, okay, with your classes that you have for that particular day there. You can see here that we have the ability to pop in some sticky notes. Okay, we can have a look at our calendar. We can have a task list, which is really great if you'd like to maybe keep a checklist of things that you need to do. So you can see there's a couple of these different options here that you can use with a physical diary that you can also use just here in a paper diary, okay? We can also come here, we can change our rotation if we want to go to a different day, all right? We can do these things, all right? We can change the date, all right? We can decide whether it's an off day, whether we want to shift it. Well, we can do everything here. We can also come and we can also do a little bit of sharing, so we can print our particular lessons, we can add resources. We can only use these options here if you are a Chalk Gold member. All right, again, I'll talk to you about that shortly there. But that is what your particular day layout will look like if you have your classes in your timetable. All right, I'm going to head back up here. Let's go and have a look at the week timetable. This was my preference because I kind of like to be able to see what I have planned, what I haven't planned, and keep track of where I am. So you'll see each day of the week here, again, you've got your sticky notes, and you'll find your classes just here, and all of the lesson information that you had will be available just here, okay? If I maybe, let's actually go and, oops, I'll just make myself bigger there for a moment. I will go and see if I can sign into my account. It is very old, so there's nothing that's really going to be exciting in here. Let's see if I can sign in. It might let me. Okay, let me see if I can go. All right, I might just need to go to my settings. Excuse me. Okay, that is signing me into the same account. That's not what I want. Okay, all right, let's log out there. Okay, bear with me. Demonstrations are always hilarious when it comes to anything here. Okay, let me log in. I have a feeling this is going to be very painful. Okay, maybe not. Let's have a look. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's go to boom, 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 boom. As you're listening to me, sounding like a crazy person. Okay, let's go to semesters. There should be some semesters in here. Yes, there are. Beautiful. Let me see. Is this one I've used? Yes, it is. Beautiful. Okay, all right, here we go. Now, this is one of my actual plan books, all right, from many, many years ago. Okay, so I'm going to press some buttons here. Okay, so this is one of my actual plan books here. You can see if we head back up here to my semesters, okay, and we jump back in here. So there's some semesters here. Okay, there's my classes, all right, that I have popped in there. And then that is what my timetable looks like when I have put it together. How beautiful does that look? Okay, absolutely beautiful. All right, so that is an example. Now, if I go to my day planner here, okay, and I'll just choose a different date. You've reached the end of your planner. Oh, okay. Let's go to an actual day here. All right, so this is what your planner would look like in the day view. So you've got all of your classes, all of your different off periods and times available there, okay? And you have your options to add content, okay, to choose templates. I'm going to show you how to create those in a moment, all right? But that is what the day view looks like, all right? This is what your week view will look like, all right? And all of this information just here for each of your lessons will be the same as the day view. So essentially, whatever you add just here to each lesson will be the same view that you have just here in the week view. All right, I didn't really like the month view because I found it got really kind of constrained and it didn't look that pretty. So if I change the month here, I don't think there's anything in this particular plan book because I don't think I ended up using this one here. Oh, here we go. So you can add, I just popped in the week into my sticky notes so that I knew what week it was. Okay, so you can do all kinds of things. Okay, you can do all of these kind of customizations in different ways through Planbook. All right, so that is the day planner and the week planner. All right, now let's go and have a look at creating a unit planner. Now, I did find the unit planner really useful to help me kind of guide myself with my units in my classes. So the very first thing we need to do is choose a class. Okay, so I might just choose my year 10 class here. And the great thing is that we can actually connect our plan to a unit. All right. So once we've created our units, we can actually connect our lessons so that we know that those particular lessons belong to that particular unit. All right, so what I've got here is you can see that I have selected year 10. I have 156 lessons scheduled across the year, and I have 4 units. All right, so these are the 4 units that we teach in year 10 at my particular school. All right, what I can do is I can add a new unit here. All right, so I could say that this is unit number 5. This is example unit. Okay, again, I can give it a color and I just press create here. Okay, so if I head up to this one just here, I've just popped in the rationale of the unit, and I've popped in a link to my Google Docs document that I used for my planning when I created my my unit. So I like to do a little bit of a planner of the lessons, so I have a little bit of a visual of where I'm going to teach what. Okay, and I have just popped that in as as an attachment. Okay, so I've just gone to upload files. I popped that in. Obviously, I've used Google Drive here, so that's what I've done just there. All right, so it's really, really, really simple to pop in your units. Okay, so you just choose your particular subject. You just click add new unit. All right, you create that. It won't let me create that because I've got nothing there. But essentially, you can just pop in anything that you find relevant or significant or useful to help you with that planning. All right, so that is the unit planner. Okay, I know I'm going through some of this really quickly, but we are really behind time now. Okay, obviously we can go in here and we can edit our timetable, okay? But I want to take you to standards, and then I want to show you the ability to be able to create the lesson templates. So you actually have the ability here to add standards to your particular subjects that you are teaching. So if I choose my year 12 subject just here, what I can do is come over here and click on the blue add standards button. Now, what you'll find, okay, is that, what's going on here? Oh, I know what to do here. Okay, so it'll bring up your different subjects here. And what you'll do is you'll come over here to the little kind of link button. Okay, you'll click on that or click on your subject, and then you click on Add Standards. Okay. Now, this is where you just do need to be aware that some of your standards and outcomes and things might not be available in Planboard. All right. So obviously, I am in Australia. I teach in New South Wales. All right. So what I can do is I can search for my standards and see if they're available there. Okay. They may not be available there. All right. Which is very unfortunate. But there are ways for you to be able to add these standards yourself. Can I remember how to do this? So there's all the standards that are kind of available now. I did work out. Can I remember? No, I can't. But I did work out how I could add them myself. But that has kind of fallen out of my brain hole tonight because obviously I sound very sick. Let's click here. No. All right. So again, your standards and outcomes may or may not be available. So just be aware of that if you plan to have a look at Planboard. Okay, very quickly, I want to show you the template. I love this particular idea here because you can create templates that you can use in your lessons. So you can see here that I've got a couple of templates already created. I have an absent lesson plan so that I can, pop in what I need for my particular example. Okay. And I've got another one here of just a record keeping template. Okay. All we do here is we come to the blue button. Then we're just provided with this space. We have all of these different options here. We can name our template. Okay. So if I call this test template, okay, we'll be able to save that and we'll be able to use that. So we can create it here. We could pop in a table. Okay, we can do all kinds of things. Okay, and then we can use that particular template in our lessons. So if I come back here to my day planner, all right, and I click on a day with a class, so let's say my year 9 class, I can come here to choose template. I can choose a template. All I do is press save, and now that template will be accessible for me to use in this particular space here. All right, I think if I click on standards, this is right. Now I remember. Look at you. Thank you very much for helping me out with that. Okay, so when you're actually in your planner here, you can do a little bit more. Okay, again, we can attach things. We can use Google Drive or OneDrive if you've got that connected. Okay, we can access our unit content if we've got a unit tagged. Okay, but we can also upgrade our standards here, and I do know that we can add them. So obviously in this particular case, these standards are available in that standards element, so I can pop those in there, and that just keeps track of those particular standards or outcomes that I am using. Okay, again, we've got all of those options there. It's very user friendly, it's very accessible, and it's really simple for you to use. All right, I am not lying to you. I have used it before and I found it to be really simple. Okay, I will show you something else though. I did talk about the fact that we could shift lessons. So maybe if you had an interruption or you were sick, we can actually change that. So we can copy the lessons, we can move the lesson, we can shift it back and forth, okay, if that is the best way. But I always found the move lesson was the best way to move it. So all you do is come to your options, you click on move lesson, and then you just find the day that you'd like to move that lesson to. All right. So obviously I've got no classes on that particular day. So you would just choose the next day that you have that class timetabled, and you would just move that lesson to that day. You don't need to retype anything. You don't need to recreate anything because that will all be there available for you. Okay, make sure you save everything, obviously. Really simple, really accessible, a fantastic tool for you to use so that you can create a really streamlined digital planner that has everything that you will need in one place. Okay, I know that that was, again, a very quick introduction to Planboard. But again, if you want to go and have a deeper look, you can go and watch our tutorial series from 2021. Again, there might be some slight changes and adjustments because obviously there have been changes to the ownership of Chalk and Planboard, but you can definitely go and have a look at those if you're interested in that. Okay, very quickly, I just want to talk about Chalk Gold. Okay, so this is where you can pay to access some different features for Chalk, all right, and for Planboard. All right, this is charged in US dollars. I am in Australia, and it really frustrates me when we look at US dollars because I normally pay more with the exchange rate. Okay. Now, this is what you get with Chalk Gold. Okay. So you get the ability to use Google Classroom and Schoolology integration. So if you would like to share things with Google Classroom for your students, you are able to do that. You can export to Google Calendar. You can share lessons with public links. You can search your lesson plans, which might be really useful if you are reusing things. You can view your lesson edit history. You can change and edit those colors. Okay, you've got that customization there. All right, so there are some things that you might find beneficial. Do I find this particular option to be the best value? No, I don't. Okay, this is my honest opinion this time. Personally, I would not subscribe to Chalk Gold. Okay, I don't think the value is there for what you are paying, which is $99 per year if you are paying annually. I don't think the features and functions are there to justify that price. All right, you could go and subscribe to something else, okay, and you would pay a little bit more, but it would be much, much, much more functional than this particular option here. So I don't recommend Chalk Gold if you're going to look at Planboard. All right. Okay. Again, that was an absolutely super fast exploration of Planboard. Okay. And I do want to, get in and show you more and slow down, but I also know that we have a time limit and we want to try and get through this in a timely fashion. All right. So what are our key takeaways from tonight's episode? All right. The bottom line is that physical diaries are still reliable. Okay. They have that tactile feel that some of us really, really love and enjoy. But a digital teacher diary like Planboard offers flexibility, efficiency, and collaboration that you just can't do as easily when you have a paper planner. All right. There's just some things that you definitely cannot do if you're using a physical teacher diary. But what I want you to do, and I've mentioned this multiple times, is I really want you to think about the benefits of a digital diary. Okay. So the biggest returns will be your time and energy, okay, and not having to do things multiple times. Being able to embed a YouTube video, a link, a document in one place is going to save you a truckload of time. It's also going to be really easy for you to jump in there and to be able to pop that up on your screen if you've got it and use that to access all of those resources and materials that you need, okay? So shifting to a digital planner is probably the one thing that I am really highly suggesting tonight. All right. It is something that you will love. It is something that will help you become insanely organized and it will make your life so much easier. Okay. I'm here to make your life easier as an educator. All right. I'm not saying that what you're doing now is wrong. I just want to provide you with some reasons to make your life so much easier because we know that teaching is hard. Teaching is difficult, and taking away a few complications like using a paper diary is something that I'm trying to help you with. Woo! We've made it. Thank you so much. If you have joined us and you have made it to the end, thank you so much because I am so proud of you for making it this far. I know we had a few little boo-boos tonight. As I mentioned, I have not been very well lately, so I do apologize for those, but thank you so much for making it to the end of this episode. And we are bang on time, which is fantastic because we have been over time for the past few episodes. Okay, so a couple of things to finish us off. If you'd love to stay connected with us here at Evolve EdTech, we'd love to stay connected with you. You could head over to our website, evolveedtech.com. You'll find lots of information about us here at Evolve EdTech. There's a whole heap of free stuff that you can access. You can find out about the Tech Ready Teacher Digital Conference, all right, which you can go and join up to for free right now. All right, there's lots of things there to help you out. We'd love it if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel, all right? So thank you for joining us. If you've joined us on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Okay, we've had a few new subscribers lately, but I'd love to get to 500 subscribers. That would be absolutely amazing. And make sure you give this episode a thumbs up, okay? All of that jazz, because that will help other people find us. All right, you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram. We're also on TikTok. We have also recently slowly started to re-engage with Threads and Blue Sky, so you can check us out on those as well. If you'd like to contact us, you can contact us at hello@evolvededtech.com. All right, we'd love to stay in contact with you. All right, if you haven't caught up with our previous 18 episodes of Innovative EdTech, you can head over to our YouTube channel and you can check out those in the Innovative EdTech playlist. All right, so we are up to episode 19. We've got one more episode left for 2025. We've already planned out our episodes for 2026, and we've got some absolute crackers for you again next year. So just head over, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our previous episodes to see all of the wonderful tips, tricks, and tools that we have shared with you. Okay, we've talked about this, the Tech Ready Teacher Digital Conference. This is our free annual digital conference that we have created here at Evolve EdTech. Our first digital conference was in January 2025. Our next digital conference is in January 2026. And what we do is we have a conference week where everything goes live, but you can access the conference 365 days a year. Everything is pre-recorded, so you can access it at your leisure, and it is absolutely free. So if you would like to join us now for the 2025 conference and be ready for the 2026 conference, just head to the techreadyteacher.com. We had 10 pre-recorded sessions in 2025, and we've got some cracker sessions coming up in 2026. All right, they will be announced very soon. So stay connected to our socials to find out more about that. Okay, this is something that we are very proud to talk about, and this is our brand new membership academy. All right, so the Tech Ready Teacher Academy is the ultimate teacher and educator resource to help you learn how to use, teach, and master EdTech confidently. All right, so if you want to step into the EdTech world, this is the one-stop place. Okay, so we are here to help you. We have big plans. All right, it is available now, but we've got big plans for 2026 in the works to make this a super amazing academy for you. And here is the best deal, okay? And I'm telling you this right now because things are going to change from the 1st of February 2026. So if you would like to become a founding member of the Tech Ready Teacher Academy, you can join now for $49 per month for life, as long as you stay an active subscribing member, but only if you subscribe by the 31st of January 2026. Okay, you're going to save a truckload of money if you subscribe and join the Tech Ready Teacher Academy now, because the price is going to go up in February 2026. So make sure that you head over to evolvededtech.com/academy and have a look at the academy, see what we're going to offer, and join us now, okay? So you can secure that amazing $49 per month for life, as long as you stay an active subscribing member as a founding member of our academy. All right, as I mentioned, you can head over to our website as well. We do have a whole swag of free training and resources that you can access there. So if you're interested in checking those out, just head over to evolvededtech.com/free stuff. All right, we're going to continue to add free stuff there for you. There's checklists, there's ebooks. You've got access to some other training that we've had there. You can see we've got one about Google Vids and also one about prompting with ChatGPT. All right, so you can go and access all of that for free at our website right now. And that brings us to the end. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate you making it through with me. I feel like I need to rest my voice. I sound absolutely terrible, but thank you so much. All right, our next episode of Innovative EdTech is on Wednesday, the 3rd of December, 2025. And this is a great one, because I want to talk to you about some of the reasons why you can actually share your skills and knowledge online. All right, here I am sharing my skills and knowledge with you through Innovative EdTech and Evolve EdTech and the Tech Ready Teacher Digital Conference, the Tech Ready Teacher Academy. But I want you to actually realize that you can do this too. You have knowledge up there, okay? I can see it, all right? We are all skilled and specialized in particular areas, and I'm going to share 10 reasons why I think you should go out there and share that knowledge with other educators around the world. So we're going to talk to you about 10 reasons why you should share your skills online. So join us on Wednesday, the 3rd of December, 2025 for episode number 20 of Innovative EdTech. All right, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to go and rest my voice before I head back to school tomorrow. But thank you for joining us. I hope you've taken something away. If you want to find out more about Planboard, head over to our YouTube channel and check out our YouTube playlist looking at Planboard. As I mentioned, there might be some slight changes to things because the platform has slightly changed since that series was filmed. But go and check it out if you would like to have a look at Planboard. It is a great tool. It's something that I have used before and is something that I may use again in the future. So go and check that out. Have a look at how you can use Planboard to help you become an insanely organized educator. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. But until December, stay safe, everybody, and we will see you again very soon. Until then, everybody, be good. Talk soon.